Hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the Paddock Podcast. We've got loads to talk about today. We're going to be getting into the results. 2 wins, 2 losses may not be hugely favourable for Man United. But after that 3-0 win, are we actually starting to see signs of things changing? Is it different to last season? One of the big accusations that United and Ten Hag get fired at them all the time is no tactics, and this is just as bad as it was last year. Let's look at whether it actually is or not, because I'm starting to see something that isn't the same as last season, but we'll get into that. First of all, Jay, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I feel like I've got an extra spring in my step.
It does make such a difference.
It does mean you was...
Even though it's autumn now.
Nah, yeah.
It's not autumn yet.
I know what he's on about. It's seasonal jokes. But I do feel like you're just happier. It's a nice result. Things are looking on the up. I know it's only 19th place Southampton, but allow us just get a little bit happy and giddy over a result because we haven't had many of them, have we?
No.
Ronaldo, discuss.
I feel good. I feel a lot more positive. It's so much better doing these podcasts on Monday after we've won on the weekend now. I feel like it is so much better. And the whole 19th place Southampton thing, you can say that, but I think the performance level that we showed for the final 65 minutes of that game was a complete and utter, like, I feel like it was domination for me. Do you know what I mean? It was the type of performance that we want as a bigger club playing against a lesser team where you just better them by pretty much every metric. Yeah. They basically didn't really affect us, or didn't
have a shot.
Didn't really hurt us after that.
Didn't have a single shot after that.
Yeah, because for the first 25 minutes, it was you had the concern, you have that little bit of a promoted team at home coming out firing, playing their football as we expected from the Southampton side, because he showed that in their first few games. But after that was us basically imposing ourselves on a weaker team, but the way that we should have, and it's a way that we quite often don't. So that's why I appreciated it, because for me, it was 3-0 in the end, but it could have been more. And I thought we controlled the game from basically minute 30 to the end of it. And I think that's what we've actually been crying out for. And I don't think you can preface it by saying it's a 19th place Southampton too much, because that is still that's what the best teams do against the lesser teams. It wasn't like we didn't scrape by Southampton on the weekend. I thought we completely dominated the game from minute 30 to the end.
Everything you wanted from that game, right? If before the game you spoke to us and said, what do you want to see from this game? I would have said, I want Marcus to get a goal, first and foremost, because of the stick he's been getting. The fact he's been working with Ryan Hopper. Get on the score sheet, come on. I want to see Onana have a good game, a little bit of pressure on him, get a clean sheet. The Litz, after the grief he'd been getting from the Netherlands, I want to see him step up. Not that he needed to step up for Manchester United, but I'd like to see him have a performance that people praise. And we had all those things. And plus you want other players to play well, like Diallo did well, and I thought obviously Mainoo's always, reliable, and ditto with Lisandro Martinez. But in particular, those few players, and in general Manchester United, to win comfortably and to put in the kind of performance where you go, that was a great performance, that. There's no way you can criticise the manager for that one, or say you got lucky, or where's his style of play, or any of the other garbage that we sometimes hear. Sometimes it's wanted, but sometimes it's just nonsense. Everything that sort of came up the way you wanted it to, even from the point of view where when he announced the team, when the team was announced, I should say, people were looking at it going, Eriksen, right? When I say people, I was one of them. Bit of a strange one, that. Bit surprising, but okay, let's see how it goes. And it worked pretty well. I don't think it was an amazing performance by Christian Eriksen, but he played his part in the win. Yeah. So it was a sort of good team performance with a few absolute standouts.
Yeah, it's what we wanted. It's like, because I will say the first 25-30 wasn't great. Yeah. Part of me does believe, obviously I won't know for sure, that even if Southampton did score that penalty, I think United have more than enough quality and talent in the squad where we could still have turned the game around. Yeah. Because I know there's this notion flying about that if they scored a different game, then they definitely would have beat us. That's not necessarily the case. They did start much better. The first 30 minutes wasn't good enough, but I was very happy with the rest of the game. I think we completely suffocated them, as I've said, and that's how the bigger teams and the better teams usually perform against the lesser teams, and that we don't do that often enough. So when we do it, I appreciate it, and that's why I was, on the large part, I was happy with the performance, and I saw some really promising individual performances, as well as Xerxes' best performance in a United shirt. I know he didn't get on the end of things, but you can show the kind of the technical quality and how much the likes of Xerxes and Mazraoui have improved us technically, because I think we had a little bit of a deficiency in that aspect last season, and it's definitely been raised this season. And when I look at United's team, as I always say, we finished 8th last season and it could have been worse, but in terms of our actual squad level and personnel, we are nowhere near the 8th best team in the league. We are much better than that. If the players are platformed correctly and we find the balance and everything kind of unifies perfectly and tactically, personnel, players perform with confidence, even injuries, United are good enough to be formidable. And I don't think that's expecting too much, which is why I'm so critical when I analyse United, because I look at the team and I think we should be much better than we quite often perform. So when we perform to a level that I think is good enough, then I will voice it.
I want to talk about a few stats that have sort of arisen as a result of these 4 United games, because obviously 1-2 lost to, one of them was a bit of a hammering by Liverpool. Losing 3-0 obviously is no good at all, especially at home to your biggest rival. That's just unacceptable.
You're right, you can't make
I'm not going to pretend that was great or that we were unlucky. Liverpool maybe had a little bit of fortune in that they had 3 shots on target and they all went in, which typically doesn't happen, but they deserved to win that game and we didn't. I'm not sitting here pretending.
Well said.
I think 3-0 flattered them, but
yeah, exactly. But
we did deserve to lose.
Yeah, I think the Brighton game, we were unlucky not to win that.
Good performance.
We scored
on
3 goals in that game. Just dominated the first half.
Defensive lapses, man.
Couple of defensive lapses. But here's a sort
better
of
against Brighton and against Fulham.
Yeah, here's a wider.
I agree.
Here's a wider set of statistics looking at how we compare to other teams in the league for different different attributes. So in terms of shots conceded, which was a massive problem last season, we conceded the second most shots of anyone in the league. So we were 19th on the rankings of shots conceded. Only Sheffield United, who got relegated, conceded more than us, which is genuinely atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, that's just hideous. Like, the idea that we are conceding more shots than the likes of Luton and the likes of Everton, who had a disastrous year, we conceded more shots than they did. So far, United are 6th in the rankings for shots conceded. So again, not amazing, but far better. One of the better teams in the league in terms of shots conceded, which is better, obviously. In terms of tackles made, we are top. In terms of interceptions, we're top. Obviously, those two things kind of go hand in hand with the number of shots you concede. If you keep winning the ball back, you're probably more likely to prevent shots. Shots on target, we're 4th. In terms of total XG, we're 3rd. In terms of big chances created, we are 3rd as well. In terms of big chances missed, here's the issue, we're 1st. In terms of saves, Onana is in 1st, which means he's had the fewest saves to make of any keeper so far in the Premier League. Clean sheets were 3rd, and possession won in the final 3rd is 4th. So that suggests that the pressing's a little bit better, more cohesive. It's more successful, winning the ball high up more often. And just in terms of those numbers, let's start with the shots conceded. 6th, obviously, we want to be 3rd, 2nd, 1st in these numbers, obviously. But from where we went, from 19th to 6th, so far at least, have you noticed a difference in terms of defensive solidity and United's ability to win the ball back and stop oppositions from having shots?
Yeah, by no means is it perfect. We still have some worrying spells within games, or we do give other teams an opportunity. I think that's just the way that we're set up, and Ten Hag does have a style of play and a philosophy that is very high risk, but it's just quite often gone the other way for us within the last 2 years. And improving from 19th to 6th obviously is brilliant, but on those stats, I've appreciated the improvement, and it does match the eye test. United do look more solid than last season, but it's just the fact that because last season was so bad, you can end up tempering expectations a little bit too much to the way we get really lenient in your evaluation of games. Where it's like, if United's team is probably, you're saying we're 6th now
in terms of shots conceded. That's where United should be if you're looking at the team, maybe the defence and in terms of the personnel. That's how we should be performing. Last season was how we should have definitely not be. So sometimes you do want to be happy with the improvement, but you don't want to romanticise it too much. No, but I think
acting like it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think if we start this from a basis of before the game, we're talking about Ten Hag might get sacked if we lose today. Like that was a genuine conversation that we spoke about. People spoke about on social media.
It was a realistic one as well, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But it wasn't like, I think anyone who watches this channel knows we're not Ten Hag out. We're not sort of inflammatory or overly reactive. It's like, all right, sack him, get rid. We've never been that channel, and we're not them individuals, and we've never been like that with this manager. Yes, we've questioned him, we all have, but I don't think you've heard any of us say he's got to go or whatever. But you've got to be realistic. And if you lose your first 2 of your first 3 games, and then after the international break you lose to the team in 19th, and I get your point that, you know, that can be a little bit deceiving, they're a good team or whatever, but just the optics of it, losing to the team, you're in all sorts of pressure. You are. Let's not kid ourselves. That's whether you're Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or Erik ten Hag. And then you might go, well, it's different, it's Ineos. Oh, that's the same Ineos that were interviewing managers not long ago.
Yeah.
You're going to be under pressure. And also, a lot of the fans are going to lose it with you. A lot of the fans are going to go, come on, man, I can't keep watching this. Like, especially fans who, you know, they always say when you lose the home or the match-going fans, your goose is cut. If you're a match-going fan, you're going all the way down to Southampton to watch us get beat.
12:30 on a Saturday as well.
We've just lost to the Scousers.
So you've either gone down the night before, bought a hotel, or you've woke up at about 4 a.m. to get
a lot of lads I was chatting to
4 a.m.
We're on that, or, you know, we're setting off at after clock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, we saw it, didn't we, when Ollie lost the fans. You remember the Watford game? I know it was his last game, but he'd literally lost the away fans. So it wouldn't have been a stretch for Ineos to go, this is not a guy. So it was a vital game. And people go, oh, you don't get sacked to a game against Southampton. Every manager has that one breaking point, that one game where it is like, it's a crossroads. Like I said it on the watch along. For me, with Jose, it wasn't the Liverpool game, which was his last game. I felt like after the Sevilla game in the Champions League, that was when it turned for him. Because he sat there and he went, we were never going to win it anyway. And that was the same season. The Scousers got to the final that season. Like, you felt like he's not getting this. He's not going to have a happy ending. For me with Ollie, after the Everton draw, when he dropped Ronny and there was all that fallout and everything, I remember thinking, this isn't going to have a happy ending. And by the time, you know, other results had happened, he was done for. So I get it. And I was one of those that said, look, if he loses this, he's in all sorts of trouble. I didn't think he would lose, and I didn't predict he'd lose, but I just thought if I was wrong about the prediction and he did, then he would have been in trouble. So it was a massively important game.
It was. Jordan Nolan made a really good point as well. He says, how many games last season did we start a game like that the first 30 minutes, not great, letting the opposition dominate us, and just then continue to be shit for the remaining 60? Like, look at the Brentford, the Bournemouth game, you know, there's too many to mention, but where you go, something's going on here, we don't look great. And then we just never looked great. No. And the gaps get bigger, and Casemiro and, you know, Mainu get further apart, and the defence is stretched even further, and Onana's making more saves and more mistakes. Like, there was plenty of examples where you have a tough 35 minutes and never turn it around. You know, I think that remaining 65 minutes, or the remaining 60 minutes or so, that we saw, and I watched most of the game back yesterday. I got the full 90 minutes and went through and watched almost all of it again. Like you said, Ronny, the last 60 minutes, watching it now, not worried that we're going to do our old Man United thing and give away a goal and the last 10 minutes is going to be scary or whatever. Watching it, knowing what the result is, it was like a training game. United didn't give them a sniff after that. It was like, we just passed it around, we made a chance, okay, they had it, they've gone down the other end, they've lost the ball, we pass it around, make a chance. Genuinely, watch that game back if anyone wants to, if you're an MUTV subscriber, you can watch the full 90 minutes on their website, which they don't push enough, because I think that's a really good resource that people don't know about. You can go and watch the full thing back. Now you know the result, and you haven't got the nerves of, are we going to Man United it? We completely battered them for that remaining 65 minutes in a way we haven't done many times at all, certainly last season. And even in Ten Hag's first season, 0 shots for the last 65 minutes of a game. That's incredible.
Yeah, demoralised them, and that's what the big teams do to these small teams that usually come out very energised, almost cup final intensity. It's a newly promoted team in front of their fans. Is you do sometimes need to weather that storm, regain control, take the life out of them, maybe with a goal or two, and then cruise for the rest of the game. Quite often, United don't do that enough. So that's why when they did it on the weekend, I was quite happy with it. Because after the first 25 minutes, I was concerned. I thought, here we go again. But then after that, I will give credit where credit is due. The performance was really good for me, and I saw a lot of positive signs. Now the next step is for that to just be repeatable now, week in, week out, even against better teams. The sample size grows, and then we can get really positive about it, because, as I said, United last season were poor, but we still got away with some games over moments, because we still have those good quality individuals with talent that are capable of punishing a team if they miss all their chances, or we might score one out of the few opportunities that we do get with the likes of Bruno Fernandes, etc. And now you've got Xerxes and Ahmad who've come into the fold and kind of emerged as well. I think if United can get that kind of control aspect like we saw for the last 60 minutes, that ability to retain possession, to kind of almost kill other teams and to suffocate them, and then you combine that with the fact that we've got the ability to, the firepower to probably punish a team if we get 1 or 2 chances, I think we can do some great things. Because for me, when I look at our squad, personnel-wise, I'm like, that team is good enough, if platformed correctly, to be a top 4 team.
Definitely.
So that's why I think that's where our expectations should be. So
yeah, I agree.
That's why I'm critical.
I mean, you look at last season. Sorry, Jay. You look at last season, and basically we went, we'll have 15 shots, you have 15 shots, or we have 15, you have 20, and whoever's got the best players is going to win this game. And basically, we worked out that we've got roughly the 8th best sort of attacking lineup in the league, and that's where we finished. Like, it was basically, we just went, we're just going to fucking roll the dice here, and if you like heads or tails, you have a shot, we have a shot, you have a shot, we have a shot, and we've probably got better players than you, so we'll finish in the top 10. But like, the structure, the repeating, and the sort of quashing and quelling of the opposition was just non-existent. Whereas now, not just do we have the better players in this game in particular, we also have the shots and the stats and the control to enforce that even more strongly. That's why we never won. I think we won 3 games by 3 goals or more in all of last season. Obviously, it's only 1 so far, but with 4 games in, like, we didn't win games by big margins because it was just, you have a go, we have a go. It's like playing conkers. Let's hope my conker's stronger than yours. That's no tactic.
You're right. We couldn't deflate teams as well. We couldn't make teams give up. I mean, like the FA Cup semi-final. Coventry should have been dead and buried. They should have been like heads dropped.
Was it 3-0 up?
Yeah.
3-0 up.
Like,
so
Coventry literally went. Coventry realised during the conceding of those 3 goals, actually, this team ain't all that. What are we doing? And he made a little tactical change and he went for it. And then as soon as that first goal went in for Coventry, and I was at Wembley, and everyone's going, uh-oh. No one was going, don't worry. Everyone was going,
were they a centimetre away from 4-3?
Yeah.
Was it the offside? Was it like...
It was an inch. It was a couple inches.
I was down the stairs. My lad was crying. We left. We'd give up. We was down the stairs, and we got to the bottom, near the bottom, and everyone was turning around. And I thought we must have gone round the wrong way. And someone, it's been disallowed, so we ran back up. Yeah, we were those guys. And then obviously the rest is history. But that is how close it was, bro, to being the end of Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United.
I mean, if you
talking of close shaves,
sorry, just the last thing that is really good, but save that just a second.
Yeah, that was
just on that Coventry game. Back to the just to close it off. The point I made about you have a go, we have a go. Coventry had 18 shots in that game, 5 on target. We had 6 on target. So we think our 6 on target will amount to more goals than your 5 on target. And we drew.
It's mad,
we had to win on penalties.
It's not enjoyable.
It was a real close shave, that game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that nicely done, bro. Talking of close shaves. Do you want your grooming routine, right, to be a one-time done deal, yeah? No messing about, gonna go and get this over there, and get this razor here, and I want to do my beard, but I want to do my balls as well. I need to sort my pubes out, and what about my beard? Well, don't worry, Manscaped have got you covered, because they've got the beard hedger and also the lawnmower 5.0, so you can do your beard and your balls in one swoop. Yes?
One in each hand,
One in each hand, and just go to town. Absolutely.
Top and down below.
And thanks to us lot and Manscaped, using the code Paddock24, you get 20% off and free shipping. Yes, now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jay, you used to tell me, right, that Manscaped had reached the pinnacle when it came to the lawnmower 4.0. Well, at the time they did, but they've gone past that, and the lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is even better. It's got the 2 interchangeable skin-safe blades. And when it comes to the beard hedger, you've got, I mean, I can't get over this, you've got the titanium-coated stainless steel T-blade, and it's got 20 length options.
Titanium is by far the sexiest metal, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Titanium is like, it's hard, it's flexible, it's rare.
Hard, flexible and rare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like my
It wasn't the name of that DVD you brought out.
It was actually, but unfortunately.
And talking about your DVDs, you've also got 20 length options as well when it comes to the beard. So you can have one like his.
Yeah.
Go on there. Look at that.
A little bit plump, a little bit on the plump side.
You can have the designer, not me. Thank you. Yeah. Or you can have the way God intended. Yeah. Like that.
The one that's been the most dealt with. That's what God intended.
The one that's really got a sound with beard hedger. Yeah, I'm getting my money's worth out of that stainless steel T-blade. So go and check out the link in the description. You've got the lawnmower 5.0, you've got the beard hedger, you've got 20% off, you've got free shipping, you've got all that good stuff. Make sure you are using the code Paddock24. Your beard and your balls will thank you.
We've got a few super chats. Colin Wilmot, one who obviously is in the chat all the time. Cheers,
Legend, Colin.
Says, is it a possibility that Xerxes suits our style of play better than Højlund because Xerxes' link-up play was top? Ronaldo, I'll start with you. Do you think he suits our style better, or do you think he's a good option to have, or do you think Højlund is just a better player?
Xerxes provides... I thought this anyway when we signed him. I thought Xerxes would be almost like a better option than Højlund up front in terms of not necessarily being a better player, but he fits the dynamic of the team better in terms of the players around him. When you're thinking about the balance of the front three, Garnacho, Højlund and Rashford just didn't work because you didn't really have a link player in that. You got all Rashford and Garnacho are both non-creative wingers for the most part. They usually goal first, score first, kind of inside forwards almost. And Højlund suffered a little bit in terms of getting his chances or getting any service really. Whereas when you look at the front three of like a Rashford or a Garnacho on the left, Xerxes up front, and you got an Ahmad on the right, and Ahmad actually has the ability to be both, which makes him kind of a rarer profile in terms of all our wingers because he has a little bit of that pause where he can keep the ball. He's technically secure, like thing he wants from Anthony, because Anthony was the reason Anthony started was people were saying it was for his ball retention compared to likes of Rashford and Garnacho. But Ahmad's got that whilst also having that extra bit of burst. He's got a bit of a burst of speed about him that I didn't know he had. He's got a goal threat about him as well. So I think if he can lock that down on the right wing, Xerxes up front and a Rashford and Garnacho on the left, I think that front three looks almost better balanced than it did last season. And that's no knock on Højlund, because I think there's also scope for Højlund and Xerxes to play up front together. If United get a little bit creative with their front two, I think I could see that dynamic working as well.
I think it's just good to have these options. It's so good to have options.
Imagine if we have two up top, does that mean we'll have 4-4-2?
Possibly.
Could we have 4-4-2?
Because people forget,
do you know how much I want 4-4-2?
Højlund wasn't bought to be the starting striker for United week in, week out anyway.
Mate,
Do you know what I mean? He was meant to be a...
It was meant to be a rotational piece for the future, wasn't he? I mean, the thing with this is, like, I think it's great that we've got a conversation, because last year Martial didn't exist.
No,
basically, for the last 4 years, Martial hasn't existed. He got 23 goals under Solskjaer in the 2020 season and has done nothing ever since. And I really like him, and I watch highlights of him and I go back and I feel all wistful and nostalgic. But he has ceased to exist as a Man United player for many seasons now. Whether that's his reliability in terms of actually playing or his output when he is playing. He's not been anything you can rely on. It's so good to have someone in Xerxes who, whether he's starting and whether Højlund's starting, regardless, you've got players there who do things very well between them. Like if you want to play the ball in behind and you want someone to hold someone off and smack it in the far corner, Højlund's your guy for that. If you want someone to hold the ball up and bring others in, Xerxes is your guy for that. We can do different things on different occasions. Like the variety and the options is so good. And obviously if one of them gets injured like at the moment, you don't feel like, oh God, we've got to play this guy, or we've got to get someone from the academy who is either not good enough or doesn't have the confidence, or shouldn't have the pressure of playing for United. We've actually got people who are competent, multiple people who are competent in that area, and it's so good. I mean, just looking at some of the stats from last season, Rasmus Højlund, the issue is he only got 9 XG all season. Like, as in basically, the stats say he should have scored 9 goals in the Premier League. The problem isn't that he didn't score enough, it's that he isn't creating enough either for himself or for his teammate by his teammates. Like being someone like a Haaland, right? I know XG people, whatever, but Haaland had like 38 XG made for him in that season at City. That is absolutely astonishing.
It's ridiculous.
Because he ain't making them chances himself. He's the king of 6 touches, 2 goals. Everyone, like, he doesn't...
He does kind of make some of those chances
occasionally himself. He does. But he's a touch and shoot kind of guy. He's getting on the end of stuff most of the time.
It's the fact he does get on the end of it, though.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I've said that to you already. So people use the amount of XG that a player has sometimes to knock them, but I think when strikers are able to get that much XG, sometimes it's a testament to their either power, physicality, or their movement, or their ability to get onto things. So that shouldn't be a knock on them, because when you look at Højlund and the fact that he only had 9 XG, like the surface level analysis for that is for people to instantly be like, he's not getting enough service. That can only just be part of it. Part of it might be, is his movement good enough? Is he alert enough in the box to get on the end of chances? What's his like timing of runs like? Do you know what I mean? What positions is he getting himself into? that could also be a factor that can increase his XG by himself. He shouldn't always have to rely on service alone. It isn't just service, because people like Osimhen, Núñez, and even Haaland's the clinical one out of the three of those. Sometimes Núñez gets knocked a lot for the fact that he misses a lot of chances, but quite often he gets chances that a lot of other strikers wouldn't, because of his power, because of his movement, and because of his tenacity, where other strikers wouldn't get that. So sometimes people need to look at the XG that strikers get and kind of see it in a more nuanced way, rather than just being like, it's just because he's playing really good players and getting loads of chances. It isn't quite as simple as that.
That is part of it, though.
I said it's part of it, but people just think it's the sole part of it.
It's the only thing, I mean, Darwin Núñez last season scored 11 goals off 19 XG, which is poor.
Yeah.
He underscored.
That's inexcusable, though.
By 8 goals. It's good that United have got options in there. Finally, we've actually got a few options. What do you think, Jay? Like Xerxes, Højlund, are we forgetting the ability that Højlund has, or are people getting excited by Xerxes, rightfully so? What do you make of it? Because only a couple of games ago, the Liverpool game where he missed a couple of chances, last game, missed a couple of chances, and everyone went, oh, he's not good enough, he's not up to the speed of the Premier League. Like, what do you make of him?
Yeah, it's been a small sample size on it, because we've only seen a few games, and like you said, the Liverpool game is the best attribute he had in that game was getting in good positions, because he did get in those good positions, but he didn't convert them. The Fulham game obviously got his goal, it was a cameo. Brighton didn't really go his way. I don't really blame him for that, it was just bad luck. And then obviously the Southampton game, I thought it was fantastic. Other than the goal, he did everything you want. But that doesn't mean that that's it now. Højlund is done for. I do feel like, even though it's a small sample size, you can see, as you were sort of saying there on it, like it seems to make a little bit more sense with him there, alongside the likes of Rashford and Garnacho or Diallo, in terms of the way they played together, than Højlund. At times, Højlund, Garnacho and Rashford just didn't look like they were gelling at times. It looked like they were sort of getting frustrated with one another, and there was a little bit of an element of, you've got three good individuals playing up top rather than playing together. But it's good to have different types of players, because Højlund and Xerxes are nothing like each other, really.
That's the beauty of it. Two different dynamics.
You need that, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
And even as a substitute, like when someone comes on, like if you know better than anyone, you're a defender and you've been dealing with Joshua Xerxes, and then he goes off and Rasmus Højlund, you've got a whole new headache to deal with. You know what I mean? It's completely different. So it's not like, it's just like for like. It's, hang on a minute, I've been going, he's been dropping deep, he's been doing this, been linking up. Now I've got this guy who's physical, who could get him behind. It's like, this is a bit of a nightmare. And that's the way Manchester United should be. You don't need 4 strikers anymore. This isn't 99. When people go, do you remember when we had Sheringham and Solskjaer and Cole and York? Yeah, because we played 2 up top. You wouldn't have 4 strikers now, because 3 of them would be unhappy. Yeah. But you need 2.
At least.
Maybe 3. Yeah, maybe 3. And I think, push comes to shove, you can get away with Bruno in a false 9 or Marcus down the middle as your third option. If you've got injuries and it's like a bit of a one-off or whatever. But to have 2 very good young attackers, who, let's not forget, aren't the finished article. We're soon quick to go, well, that's him, he's done, that's how he's going to be. Højlund's what, 20? Or 21, sorry.
21.
And Xerxes 23. So 2 young, exciting strikers who, regardless of the small sample size we've had with Xerxes, or the fact it's only been 1 season with Højlund, they've shown they can cope in the Premier League. They've shown that already. You can see, okay, they don't look overawed by it. For me, the big question mark now is, how good is Xerxes? Let's see a bit more of him. And can Højlund kick on from last season? Because whilst last season was a good season for Rasmus Højlund, there was a big chunk of it where it didn't quite go his way, and I want to see him now learn from that and be a little bit better this season. Maybe get 20 goals in all comps, something like that, where you go, there's a bit of progress there. And I think it's doable for him, because he's a good lad.
Yeah, because on that XG, I would ask you to look at what McTominay's XG was last season, because I know his finishing was really good, but McTominay had limited time. And like we quite often complained about the service that Højlund was sometimes getting. Yeah, McTominay would come on for 25 minutes and end up with 2 chances, and that's just because I started to look at it. Is McTominay just kind of maybe got that extra little bit of instinct and better box movement than maybe Højlund had? Yeah, and he's obviously, McTominay showed that in the international break as well already for Scotland. And sometimes it's that, because as I was referring to the XG, Haaland would get a lot of XG in games where they've just crossed the ball into the box and he just jumped over everyone else and just bullied someone and headed it.
Or knocked someone out of the way.
And that would be like half XG, or someone's knocked a hopeful ball through and he's like overpowered and paced the defender, and then he's got a chance at the end of it that might be 8.8 XG. Yeah. But people will look at that after the game and be like, oh, he just got 1.5 XG, he's getting a lot of chances created for him. when sometimes it's actually the ability and the talent of the player itself.
Just on that, so looking at Scott McTominay last season, he scored 7 goals off the back of 6.8 XG, and obviously Højlund got 9 XG last season. So he's only basically 2 or 3 XG behind, and yet he's playing in midfield and he's played 500 minutes less. 500 minutes fewer, should I say. So he's making chances for himself or getting in good areas for himself. And also the mad thing is, I don't know if this is right, Scott McTominay last season averaged 2.1 shots per game and Højlund averaged 1.5. So like his ability to have shots and be in the right area to take shots is a big thing. Like Cristiano Ronaldo isn't the most clinical striker ever. In fact, he's not particularly clinical by comparison to his peers. But what he's the best in the world in the history of football at is taking shots every game. He's averaging 4, 5, 6, 7 shots a game.
Now,
no one has ever been better than him at taking shots. And that's obviously you've got to shoot to score. But so many strikers like the Højlund averaged 1.5 shots per game last season. Ronaldo, I'm going to just have a look, but I can tell you for nothing, it's a lot higher than that.
Ronaldo. Even now, like
when he was at Real Madrid, he was averaging 6, 6.5, 7 shots a game, 5.8, 6.4. He's just his whole career since sort of 2014 onwards, so not even including his United days, he's averaging 5.9 shots per game. That's how he scored so many goals. He's not actually outscored his XG by that much, but he takes so many shots, gets in so many good areas. That's why he's the best goal scorer.
That's what surprised me about Xerxes. Xerxes come in as a facilitating number 9, where people have question marks about is like actual striker instincts in terms of finishing and getting into good areas. That's sort of like, even though he's missed chances, I think it's really positive that he seems to get on the end of things and he's getting those opportunities, because there's going to be a time where these chances start to go in and he might have a flurry. I think the goals are going to come for Xerxes. I think you should be more worried if the chances aren't coming.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. You know, when you see a striker and he's not getting any chances, he looks like he's lost confidence, he doesn't know where he's meant to be. That's when I really worry. I don't worry if I see a striker who's in the right spot. And you said it against the Scousers for that header. I was quite critical. I thought he should have done better. But you said he hit the target. It's not like he's absolutely fluffed his lines. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So he's getting in good positions. He's already got a goal. So he's off the mark. It took Højlund, 14 Premier League games, whatever it was? Yeah. I can't remember. You know, that 007 fucking garbage that does me head in. Yeah. So he ended that straight away. So, yeah. I mean, I remember watching the game against Fulham when he came on. And the crowd were with him, man. He did a few things where the crowd were like, and I was chatting to a few people afterwards, and I saw a few people online and reviews going, he looked a bit out of sorts, and I was thinking, he looks all right when he came on. I think he looked a bit sluggish at times. You could see he wasn't didn't have that spring in his step, but he's not played any pre-season, and he didn't really play in the Euros either. But the touch in that was there, and then against Southampton, he was a joy to watch, man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You almost forget that in all the nonsense that goes on with supporting United recently. It's nice to watch a player who's good on the eye and entertaining to watch, and he was like, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. This is good stuff.
Ray D, the JD, says, we haven't seen Rasmus play with this year's Amad Diallo yet. I think Rasmus will get more opportunities just because of Amad. I agree with that personally. Just compared to, and not to say Garnacho won't play a lot and isn't a good player, but Amad is going to look for his teammates and his striking partners more than a Garnacho would. So getting Højlund in with him would be cool to see. We've got a few different super chats. Get your chats in. Joshua Bowater says, as our resident baller, Ronny may have one, but if you scored a goal, what would your celebration be? Jay, nothing involving bottles on fingers. I think that's a little reference to last night.
Oh, yeah, my little Warriors thing. Well done if you got that reference.
I've never had an actual celebration.
What do you do when you play for Paddock FC and you get a goal?
It's just a nonchalant acting like I've been there before when I haven't.
Right, okay.
Because I actually was never the most prolific when I played. I was more of a creative winger. So when I did score, it was generally a roar and a fist pump.
Yeah? Was it a roar?
Yeah.
What, like Bafetimbi Gomez
like
style?
Like a tiger.
Oh.
Tiger.
You're not like crawling on the floor?
No, I don't have that in me,
I
did like that though.
No offence, Ronny, I love you like a brother, you know I do. But if I saw you score a goal for Paddock FC and crawl on the floor like a tiger, I'd be
I feel like you'd be disappointed, man.
Fucking hell is he doing?
They sold me.
I would.
What would yours be?
It takes a lot for me to say that.
I've got one.
Do you know what the celebration I always love? Right, and I'm showing my age here. 1983, Wembley. Ray Wilkins, God rest him. He just went on a run.
What, 5K?
Yeah, he did.
At the stadium.
He just basically did. He said, I didn't know what to do. He said, I just went on a tour of Wembley.
Really?
Yeah, he just ran. He scores an absolute world in and just goes like running off. And I think there'd be an element of that with me. I'd just be like, do you know what? I'm going to go for a run, mate, and keep running until the referee has a word with me.
I think my favourite cell is Gyökeres. I think he does. Is it the Bane mask that he does? I don't know how he exactly does it, but
puts the mask on his face like his bones.
Oh no, does he do it with his hands?
He does it, but he does it in like it looks semi-complex.
Really
It
I
doesn't
think
like that.
I've got two. I'd either do the Adebayor where every time I run to the opposition fans and knee slide in front of him, no matter what. I'm just getting bookings every single time I
love
score.
that.
Is that feel one goal a season? He's like the best celebration on the United squad is Diogo Dalot's.
Because he's got about 5 foot. It was that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Here's another one, Jane. I'm going to need you as a prop for this. Use the wide. So I'd either run to the or I'd do this. I get a bow. I go up to the opposition manager.
Yeah.
I get a bow and arrow like that, and then I go, and then put my finger in his mouth.
That would be definite celebration / sending off at the same time.
Like the arrows going right into the opposition manager's
I think you're going to
mouth.
have a certain look to pull that off.
What's the best?
I feel like it'd look more better for you doing that than me.
What's the best celebration you've seen by a player, like by a United player?
You know what? I'm not buying the triple backflip shit. No. I've never liked that.
Nanny.
Oh, Nanny, no. Nanny against the Scousers, man. I love that. He scored the third in a 3-0 win, and when he did that at Old Trafford, if I could have done it, I'd have done it with him.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's one of those celebrations that it's not creative in this sort of thinking of it sense. It's like you've got a wicked party trick and you're just doing it. I mean, obviously, it's impressive technically.
Yeah.
But I just think it's not like you've come up with something unique and unusual.
Do you remember him, Eve? Ketspire? At Newcastle. Do you remember him? You lot might be. Was it Tamori Ketspire? Yeah, where he kicked us 7 bells out of the advertising.
See, that I like. I like the way Rooney boxed him one.
He was a nutter though, innit?
It's thoughtful. Do you know what I mean? Something's gone into that.
Oh, Rooney?
Yeah, do you remember?
I thought... Oh, the box. When you think Rooney's, I'm thinking of the...
do you know what impressed me with Rooney? The way
back flop.
Yeah, that was good.
The way he fell,
boxing one.
The way he fell to the floor as well.
Yeah.
Because if you like lean back and just fall backwards...
Your instinct is to put your hand down.
But he didn't. He literally just went out.
That's how you know he's a nutter.
Yeah.
Because he just was willing to fall backwards.
Yeah,
on the floor.
that really impressed me. That was against Spurs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He actually has a good celebration.
I like it. Was it Lee Sharp who used to dance on the corner flag?
Yeah.
That's pretty
use
cool.
that as a... he did it at Goodison, right? He said he scored a goal at Goodison. We won 1-0. And this is in 1 week he scored 3 goals against Arsenal at Highbury, and then he scored the winner against Everton at Goodison, and he celebrated like Fergie told him to chill out with his celebrations, and he celebrated like.
He didn't do the bow and arrow into Fergie's mouth.
No, he may as well have done. He said Fergie came onto the bus after the game and made a beeline for him, and he thought, Gaffer's going to give me a pat on the back here and say, well done, you got the winner and all that. And he said he just went berserk at him for the celebration.
Fergie hated some mad stuff, didn't he? Fergie just hated. I love it. But he was right. He was right.
You don't cringe ones like Foden's, right?
What's that one again?
Oh, is that what's no? It's the
gun one.
Mate, do you know what?
Is it like that? It's like a bow and arrow, but he's using Stockport armoury instead.
The best thing about that celebration, right, is the tweet you showed me, where someone had made a complaint about that celebration, and they tagged in like Rihanna, Joe Biden, GMP, Trafford Council, just like this is promoting gun violence, and there's like look at the state, and like they just tagged in like lots.
Yeah, so many just random people. Yeah,
Cole Palmer's is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Cole
nice.
Palmer. Yeah, that's a good one.
Good.
Everyone's on it now, though, aren't loads of people on that. It's a decent one because it goes with his name and everything.
Yeah,
but it's a bit.
I think he does anime ones when he scores.
Yeah,
Solanke.
I'm not having that.
Solanke.
Grow up.
Yeah. Do you remember Randy when he scored against Arsenal? He did about 3, didn't he?
Yeah.
Remember?
It's always the people that feel like they don't score enough, so they got to use them.
Signs were there, weren't they?
I think you could be one of those people who's always got something in their shorts every week.
I hate that. I hate that.
You got like a Cornish pasty or something. You know?
Aubameyang.
I think you do a sponsorship thing.
Like
you'd
sponsored by
score
Greggs.
And then you get a nice Timex watch brought out and then you show it everyone.
Scoop out of mouldy pasty out.
Yeah. Sponsored by Greggs.
Who has actually signatures? Madison does as a darts.
Yeah.
Heuming Son's the.
Do you know what?
Is it the?
Oh yeah. He just didn't do
Rashford stopped doing that, hasn't he? No, Rashford stopped that.
Gareth Bale's.
Yeah. Here's a good one. Yeah. This is we need to
and
stop
what was the thingy? The Dele Alli one that everyone couldn't do? Was that one? There was a way of doing it.
I'd get a marker pen out and sign the camera lens so it looks like I'm a big celeb. Right, let's move on. Patrick Lynch says, United win and it's only Southampton. If you lose, it's banter central. It was a solid performance. It was a good result. Now we just need to back it up. Completely agree.
Yeah, he's
Akash says, lads, chill, Saints are a poor side. But for me, Mazraoui being taken off was a huge worry. In my opinion, he starts ahead of Dalot if Shaw comes back at left back. We don't know the update on Dalot.
I think the presser, I think, is happening now. I think. So we should have an update on what is going on very soon. So we'll keep an eye on the socials. As and when that news comes in, we will. From what I heard, and I'm not ITK, so don't quote me, was that Mazraoui would be okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was rested for Barnsley anyway, just because he's come into the side and basically played a lot of football, having only just arrived.
Yeah,
in the
he needs
window.
a rest.
Yeah, so it's good to see him getting a bit of breathing. Make sure you are hitting that like button as well, please, people.
Yes.
Are we around the time of Wally of the Week? Or
yeah, we're getting there.
I've jumped the gun.
No, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, who's your Wally of the Week this week? You have to have come up with one.
Everton.
Yes.
I love. Do you know what? Right. This is awkward for me, right? Because I kind of like Everton. I've got a few mates who are Evertonians, but I'm finding this hilarious, Ronny.
Go on.
Your little war with Everton is funny.
There's being bad and there's being 2-0 up, losing 3-2 2 weeks in a row bad.
That is a particular type of bad, isn't it?
I didn't honestly think I'd enjoy Everton's downfall as much as this, but now I literally go into every weekend hoping that they lose. But I think it's sweeter the way that they lose,
the nature of
the fact that they get
crushed, the fact that they get a little bit of encouragement. I remember seeing the second goal going for Calvert-Lewin, and I thought, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's how badly I'm hate watching them now. It was almost a perfect hate watch. But Everton fans are still being deluded. They're saying the fact that we're this shit defensively without Branthwaite is showing you all United fans why we wanted to keep him. So it's going to be even better when they go down and then we get him for 25 million instead. I can't wait for it. Literally, that is what I'm looking forward to the most at the end of the season. And it's going to humble
not any
completely.
Trophies, not finishing top four, none of that.
It's one of
Branthwaite for 20 million.
I'm on Everton hate watch officially all season.
It's been a beautiful watch for you then so far.
It's been
Don't
perfect.
get much better than that.
Who have they got next actually? Because I did look at their fixtures. It's been that bad.
This is rough that you're looking at the fixtures and all sorts. Next up, Southampton in the AFL Cup and then Leicester away.
Oh, Leicester away.
You know what?
Jamie Vardy, what have you got for me?
That stinks of a Jamie Vardy win.
What have you got for me, Jamie?
Can I just go through Leicester's next few Everton's next few fixtures?
Okay, go on.
Because if they don't win a good proportion of these, you might have the best season of your life, because they've got Southampton, Leicester, Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton again, West Ham, and then Brentford. I know not all of those games are easy, but you've got a very winnable run there. If they haven't won many of those games, you might be in for a right exciting season, Ronny, in terms of hate watching Everton, because it's going to be a struggle for them.
Have they not got another points deduction coming or something?
I don't know. I think possibly.
They've sorted themselves out when they sold Onana and a few other little bits of business he did, didn't
Jamie Vardy brace, man, that would feed families.
That'd be unbelievable.
Feed mine anyway.
He'd be around the wind-up merchant.
Jay, who's your Wally of the Week?
You know me, Joseph. I don't like to get political.
Oh no.
But this whole Keir Starmer's missus getting sweaty bags to go and buy some dresses off some donor is just a nonsense, man. I can't believe.
I don't even know about this.
Yeah, so Keir Starmer's missus donated a load of money to buy some clothes. Yeah. And he didn't declare it or something, which I almost could care less. But then you had David Lammy on the telly yesterday saying, in this country, we don't even give the Prime Minister a clothing allowance. What's he meant to do? Man, the guy's a millionaire. He don't need someone to buy his clothes for his missus. Come on, get a grip. The whole thing's just nonsense. It's just annoyed me. So, yeah, he's my Wally of the Week, Keir Starmer, and David Lammy.
Blimey. Mine's, who's my Wally of the Week? I mean, actually, it's me, Ronaldo.
You?
Yeah.
I think you've done yourself before.
You know what? I've got to be honest.
Go on.
Because we've had probably somewhere in the region of 20, 30 comments about how good your hair looks, and I've not read a single one of them. And I apologise.
You really not? You've not done that? I pointed it.
Actually.
And I posted it on my socials today.
Loads of people throughout the show saying, nice do, Ronaldo. Hair's looking great. Ronaldo looking young. Looking good, change up hair-wise.
Can we have his clothes? Can we have his single?
So Ronny,
look at that. You've ignored all them comments.
This is back to the sort of. This is the Ronaldo I met hair-wise. This is the 2020 Ronaldo.
I took it back, and obviously I turned 26 recently.
Yeah. And
I thought, let me make myself feel a bit younger. I feel like when I'm getting hair like this, I look 2 years younger. Look a little bit less rough.
Yeah.
And
do you know when you announced it upstairs before, you looked genuinely buzzing with yourself, and I can see why. You did. You sort of went. He
peeled it off,
and it did.
I could tell something was up immediately.
Just a little glow, little glint in his eye.
Yeah.
Like he had something to tell us. Do you know what I mean? And when he revealed it, I was like, yeah, do you know what? That's sick.
Dylan says Ronnie's hair is stunning.
Yeah.
Blackfish99 just says hair is great. I don't know if that's a general thing, but sorry, Jay. But yeah, there's a lot of love in the comments for your luscious new locks. So congratulations.
This is the. Do you know what? I've never felt more deflated about being bald than I am between you two today. Honestly, it's horrible. You know what I mean?
Hair wise,
Very low maintenance though.
That's true. That's true. You two've got a lot of, timitating to
we
do.
have to do this all the time.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. Whereas me, just a bit of brasso in the morning, and I'm good to go.
Right, that's going to be all from us. Thank you once again to Manscaped for sponsoring the show. Use the code Paddock24 for 20% off and free shipping. Hit subscribe as well. And also, if you're watching this video and there's less than 1,000 likes on it, hit the like button, please. It helps us out a lot. Thank you. We'll be back in the morning. Got loads of videos coming out tomorrow as well. We've got interviews with Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, going to let us know whether City are going to get absolutely rinsed over the next few weeks with this trial that is ongoing. We've got all sorts coming tomorrow. And of course, the watch along as well. You're going to be here for that, aren't you? We've got loads of stuff going on.
Me and the boy wonder for that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. United versus Barnsley. We're going to do a video afterwards saying how United are properly back.
Oh no, Scott.
I think Scott is joining us, yeah. So I've took one for the team by giving up my Barnsley ticket.
Thank you very much for that.
I really appreciate the things I do for this channel.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
So yeah, it's going to be content-tastic tomorrow.
Be unbelievable. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.